afternoon, everyone. Wish you a very happy Women's Day and Mahashivratri. So, two beautiful occasions on the same day. So, Ardhanareshwar and Women's Day, everything all together is another auspicious day for us. And we have Champakalata ji here, another blessing for us. So, I was just talking to her and understood that it's been 12 years that she's teaching Bhagavad Gita. One of her student is here with us, so we can see that uh, what's her journey. And before that, in 1990s, actually she started learning Bhagavad Gita, and one of the occasions she actually could get into that, she learned herself, and then she is passing on her knowledge, whatever she could understand through her gurus, through a correct path, because we see different versions of Bhagavad Gita. And now she could see that clearly what exactly Bhagavad Gita would like to teach us, and now she is passing on that information. A postgraduate student, and worked on different projects in the project management, and now on the spiritual path and helping many people to understand the purpose of life. Thank you so much, Champakalata ji. Thank you for having. We are very blessed to have you here. So over to you. So I might not be the right person to tell completely about it, but I was requesting Lakshman ji. I don't know even I am qualified to introduce her. So knowledgeable person. So whatever I could say, I tried to tell. Maybe you might be the right person to tell much about your knowledge.
Actually speaking, you're all very much accomplished. I should be on that side. And
On that, sorry. Volume. The volume. Naga? Is it working? Say something. Can you say something?
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Thank you all so much. Actually, I was just telling that you're all very well accomplished. I should be sitting on that side, and you should be talking. Yeah, first I'll start with the prayer. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Chaitanya Manobhishtam Dalati Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavasya Shri Rupam Sadhana Jatam Sadhana Ravana Bandhitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sadhana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitasya Shri Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagapati Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaskute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णकेशाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिते नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य सुतारि जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरवंश Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this is known as the Mangalacharana. Mangalacharana is to invoke auspiciousness and Shreyas to everybody. So this is a prayer that we usually say before anything that we perform to invoke the blessings of the Supreme Lord and the Acharyas. First of all, thank you for the introduction, but there was nothing in my life so great that I could actually speak here. But thanks to Lakshman Reddy ji, who has actually given me this opportunity to stand in front of you and share a few words from my life. And I was actually feeling very awkward, and I felt maybe it's narcissistic to talk about oneself. But then maybe if I'm able to do any small increment in your life in a positive direction, then that would be because of the blessings of the Supreme Lord and the teachers, the spiritual teachers. And in case I fail to do so, it is just my shortcoming.
so I
pray to you and I apologize to you in advance. And thank you for giving me this time. So, life is beautiful when we serve. We're all serving, you're all serving in this particular company. But the question is it really service? Because the definition of service, according to the dictionary, you all must be knowing, doing an act of kindness or helping somebody or supporting somebody, right? So an act of kindness we cannot probably say because there is a kind of transaction between the company and us, right? So according to the Sanskrit dictionary and according to our scriptures, service means seva. Seva means any act which we are doing to please the Supreme Lord and by engaging our senses and our resources. That is real seva, that is real service. Okay? So today we will talk about where we stand. Yeah, first of all, today is Women's Day. So happy Women's Day to all the women here. Yeah, and we all have heard about this shloka from the Manusmriti. Yatyanadyastu pujyante ramante tatra devataha. The gods are pleased and they reside in a place where women are respected and held in high honor. And where women are not respected or if they are exploited or hurt, then the lords are not pleased and there can't be any auspiciousness in this that kind of a place. So it is very important for us to be respecting all women. And Lord Krishna also in the Bhagavad Gita says something regarding women. He says in the 10th chapter, 43rd shloka, or sorry, 34th shloka, he gives 7 qualities of a woman. And he says, Kirti Shri Vacha Nadinam Smritit Medha Dhritik Shama. He says, among women, there are 7 opulences which are actually me. Lord Krishna says that. And he says, Kirti is fame, fortune, fine speech, Dhriti, that is Dhriti is memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and the capacity to forgive. All these things are in a woman. And even if a woman has one or more such qualities, then she becomes very glorious. That's what Lord Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. And does it mean that these qualities do not exist in men? Of course, they do exist in men too. But there is something very specific for the men also. Lord, in the purport of the same shloka, Srila Prabhupada says, for a man, what is glorious is to be very righteous. What is righteousness? We are all in the Artha Arjana. We are all trying to, gain money or earn money. So, but if a man is trying to earn money and it is dharmic, okay, righteous means dharmic. So that means very ethical, moral, and sticking to certain codes or principles, right? So if he is dharmic, then that money will have value, that can give pleasure, that won't give distress or misery. Okay, so this is what the Lord says. But here, in the current times, in this fast-moving world, okay, the world is traveling at a breakneck speed, right? So we are also trying to actually go in the same speed, in the same direction as everybody is moving. But there comes a time in everybody's life, due to certain situations, where we realize that we need to pause, reassess, recalibrate, and re-energize ourselves. And that re-energizing, seeing some inspirational or motivational YouTube videos, right? Maybe that is kind of giving, that will give us a fleeting hope. Ki, all right, ye main try karke dekhti hu. That will not give us ultimate pleasure or ultimate solution. So what is it that we all need to do in life to understand where we stand and in what direction we need to move? Okay, so recalibrating ourselves is very important, but we need some help, support, and guidance from the Shastra. Why from the Shastra? Shastra does not necessarily mean only the Gita and Bhagavatam. We could be of different faiths, we could be following different religions, and religion is just an instrument to enhance our spirituality. Okay, so we have the body, mind, intelligence, and of course the soul. So right now we are identifying ourselves with either the body or mind as the most intelligence, but we don't think of ourselves as the Atma, right? So we have to come up to that point. Only then can we actually utilize our lives for ourselves and also for everyone else. Okay, so that means, like for example, if you have a spoon and while cooking you need it, you can't stir the hot rasam with the hand, you need a spoon. So similarly, you need religion to actually become spiritual. So religion is just a form of expression. If a boy has to say I love you to a girl, he just takes a red rose and gives it to her. That is an expression of love. But that itself is not love. But the same karchi with which he can actually mix can be used as an instrument or a weapon also. Similarly, religion can be used as a weapon. So here what we are talking is on how to use everything to move closer to the Supreme Lord. Right? So religion is just one method of moving closer. So here if I am showing or talking about Srila Prabhupada or any other acharyas or any other spiritual masters, you can put in your mind some acharya from your own faith. That's it. Okay? So you can replace it in your mind. But since this is my story, I just thought I'll speak a little bit about Srila Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of International Society for Krishna Consciousness. His books have been my guidance. I came to spirituality just because of him. This was like, um, in the year 1991, I got married at the age of 19, and my father was not doing very well that time, in the sense he had some heart issues. So my mother said, this Rishta has come and the boy is from Indian Air Force, he's an officer, so I want you to get married. And I was like very adamant, I didn't want to. I said I'm doing quite okay in studies. In academics I was in the top 5 always in school and college. So I was not willing to marry at all. So, but when my in-laws actually assured and accepted that I will study even after marriage and complete and also get into a career, I was a little, I could breathe and I felt happy. So when I got married, I was totally new to the hustle and bustle and the glim and glam of the defense services. It was very difficult for me because by the time I would get used to some nitty gritties of the defense life, there were new challenges. So when I faced challenges, I thought that there has to be a solution. And I always had this inquisitiveness in my mind. How do I move about? Like even as a child, I had many questions. Like for example, today is Women's Day. We have decorated, you have decorated the office so beautifully with the balloons and so many other things. When I was a child, I used to ask my mother, today is a festival, you have put the green torrents, we are wearing nice clothes, we are eating sweets, and we are enjoying. But is this what festival is all about? There has to be some meaning. So I had questions about karma, about jnana, about karma siddhanta, so many things. So my uncle had actually, when I was a child, he told me, you are too small and very young for this kind of knowledge. When you grow up, you'll get to know. And once I was married, I felt now is when I should know the answers. So, after getting married to my husband, there were a lot of challenges that I faced. In the sense, especially when we were to get posted to new places, we would be given a small dingy room where we have to adjust within that and go to the mess and have our food. That's it. For a month or more than that, you have to stay in that room. Even when you have kids, that was the lifestyle. It was very tough. Like we were posted to Suratgarh, which was a desert also. And I had seen dust storms. Like for example, this carpet, right? This will catch so much dust in just an hour when the dust storm happens. that the next day you are only breathing dust. It used to be like that. And then it was so hot that at 50 degrees temperature, our Maruti car, small little car, the tin was actually kind of melting, and we had the cassettes those days, right? Those cassettes actually melted in that hot sun when it was parked outside. It was so hot. It was full of dangerous and poisonous snakes all around. There were king cobras in that place. Just my backyard had 25 eucalyptus trees, and it was full of poisonous snakes. So I had the closest encounters with snakes in that station. So again, when you face distress or misery and when you're insecure, you often think of a solution or an answer. Why is this happening to me? Why am I put to these kind of situations, right? And soon enough, after the Suratgarh posting, we were posted to Agra Air Force Station. And there, suddenly one day, my husband was in the IL-76 aircraft, which is one of the biggest aircrafts in Air Force, and it is used for cargo, like ammunition and everything is actually transported in that aircraft along with the personnel. So it also had AN-32s, which are smaller size aircraft. So every Thursday, my husband used to go to Bagdogra in that aircraft and return after 2 days. Suddenly one day he decided not to go on that Thursday, and that Thursday, in the month of March 1999, that aircraft crashed. And 30 of my friends were, widowed, their children orphaned. That was so soul stirring for me. I was disturbed to the core because it could have happened to us too. It's just that my husband didn't go that day. And soon enough, a neighbor of ours, Wing Commander Parthiban, he was riding the MiG-21s. So one day he got a call from the government office, and they told him that you need to go and check the Kargil and Dras space. There seem to be some Pakistani bunkers there. Go on an air surveillance, take the pictures and come back. And his aircraft was attacked by the missiles of Pakistani Air Force. And he closely missed and came back home. And that was the beginning of the Kargil war. Just a week later, my husband and the entire Air Force Station Agra, they had to go to Kargil. And these people are actually given some pills so that they don't go off to sleep in the night. Because all 3 or 4 nights my husband didn't sleep, days and nights. Suddenly he came back one day to give me the laundry and get back again to Kargil. So on one of those days, because my husband was in the air crew, he was in the gunner's seat, and while going, he said, I had the most terrifying experience today because I could see, because the gunner's cabin is actually made of thick glass. It has to be transparent so that the gunner can actually shoot in times of war. So he said, I could see the missiles so closely coming and missing our aircraft. And that was actually gave me sleepless nights. And he went away again back to Kargil Dras. Once they are gone, we don't even know, except the commanding officer's wife who gives us a call once in a while. Bechari, what will she also do? She is also in the same situation as me and others. But we try to, pull up each other. That was the situation. And the experience that I am going to talk now, I spoke only twice. This is the 3rd time. Even my mother didn't know about this. Most terrifying experience of my life. The Agra Air Force Station, in the house that we lived in, I still remember the house number 36A. That was the 9th year of my marriage. 36A comes to 9. I conceived my son in the month of September that year after the Kargil war. And he was born on 18th May, that also comes to 9. I don't know what it's about numerology, but I'm just telling my coincidences. So that house was so huge. They were built actually during the British time, very old houses, very almost dilapidated state, but they would just run it along, for all the officers. So that house had a very beautiful lawn in the front, and the backyard had a very beautiful vegetable garden. But the lawn had an anthill in which there was a king cobra. So the moment I entered that home, the first day, my maid from the servant quarter, she came running and she said, "Madam, there is a snake in the lawn. Don't allow Vishu Baba." My elder one is Vishwa. He was about 3 years when we went there, but when Kargil happened, he was 5 years old. She said, "Please don't allow Vishu Baba to go into the lawn because there is a snake over there." So I employed a gardener to keep it always clean and to see that the snake doesn't come anymore. So I was like, very eager to tell the snake that we are the residents now. No, please go away. So, and then there was like an adjacent, what do you call, the drainage hole, which had black lizards, which are of this size. Okay, I don't know what kidas the maid told me. They are like some kida which stay only in the drainage holes. They're very black in color, extremely poisonous. One sting, and that's it. The person is dead on the spot. So I used to safeguard my young son with a great difficulty. Idhar nahi jana, don't go there, don't go here, and all that. This itself is a stress, right? And then over this, on that night when my husband went to Kargil, we were told to switch off all the lights because the light sensing missiles might be used against our station. So switch off all lights after 6 o'clock, complete pitch darkness, cover your curtains also. I was with my young son, and that house in which we stayed had 6 doors, okay, which will lead to outside area. Suddenly, the window of my bedroom, when I was trying to put my son off to sleep, there were some animals called geethers. Geethers are half jackal and half wolf. I don't know what they are called in English, but in Hindi they call them geethers. They started howling. It was so pitch dark, and then it was so scary because there's no lights, there's no one else with whom I can talk. I was the only one who had to take care of my young son. And I was almost in tears when I suddenly heard a banging noise from my kitchen. And I was scared. Did the geethers enter my home? Or is there a housebreaker? Knowing that all the husbands are in Kargil, did somebody come in? And I was so scared. I just took my young son in my arms, tied a dupatta around my waist, I slowly walked into the kitchen with a torch in my hand. Those days we had those long torches, right? I took it in my hand just to also use it as a weapon in case necessary. I reached the kitchen and suddenly switched it on just to see a huge part of the roof cave in and fall on the ground. That was the banging noise. Because these are dilapidated and old houses, right? I tell you, that night I cried so much. I had so many tears. I was scared to the core because there's insecurity that your husband may or may not come back. Every day I used to hear of body bags. So many soldiers, around 900 plus, had died in that war. And all the bodies used to come to Air Force Station Agra where we were living because the IL-76 used to go there and get the bodies. That was the situation, and that is when I thought I had actually tried pranic healing, Reiki, whatnot, meditation, lot of things before even this experience happened, just to understand who I am, where I stand, what is my life, what is my goal, what is my journey, what am I here for, what is the purpose of life. These are burning questions that each one of us have, and I had these since childhood. None of these got answered with the kind of practices that I did. And I just opened the Bhagavad Gita, which my brother had gifted in 1996 to me on my birthday. And that day I thought, ये भी कोई gift होती है देने की? What, my brother didn't have any other gift to give me? Like that I thought, so foolish I was. But now I just opened, and that day especially when I was so scared, and I heard of the body bags, and just after that experience, horrifying experience, I opened and second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Jatasya hi dhruvam mrityu dhruvam janma mritasya cha tasmada pariharyate natvam shochita marhasi. Lord Krishna says, "O Arjuna, whoever is born has to die, and whoever dies has to be born again. So don't lament. Go ahead with your duty." For the first time, I felt the Gita is reciprocating with me. Lord is actually answering my questions. He is speaking to me. All the questions that I had unanswered are kind of getting answered now. And then soon after the Kargil war, fortunately my husband was very safe. He came back home, but I actually felt very sad for so many of my friends who lost their husbands. Families were shattered. So these burning questions were still there, and we went to Kangra district in Himachal. That is where we have the ashram of Mataji. So I went there because we just went for a holiday, and I just wanted to know what is the purpose of life. So I went and asked him, "What is the purpose of life? I want to know." So he spun his chanting wheel and said, "Buddham Sharanam Gacchami." That's it, and he went away without answering my question. I said, "I asked such a burning question, he didn't tell me." So then we were posted to Hakipet Air Force Station in Hyderabad, and that is where I met some of the Shishyas of Srila Prabhupada. So, Prabhupada, in 1966, he went to the US, and for 11 years, he traveled all over around the world. 14 times he trotted the globe, and he taught people on what is the purpose of life, and what and where do we actually stand now, what we are actually supposed to do. And then he was so full of compassion because only a Bhurida Jana. Who is a Bhurida Jana? The one who has mercy in the heart is a Bhurida Jana. Whatever we have within us, we can give to the others. If you crush an orange, what will come out? Orange juice will come out. Lemon juice. Like that, if you crush a person and put him to stress or difficulty, what comes out? Irritation, irksomeness, anger, whatever, right? But he is one person from his life history we get to know that Srila Prabhupada was exposed to so many difficult situations, but he always remained stable, happy, always giving. He's always smiling like that, but there could be a furor, right, in his life. But he was like that. So, not by precept, but by example, he taught on how we have to go forward in life and where we have to go. So he taught about love and being loved. To love and be loved. Right? So that is actually the main purpose of life. But oftentimes we find difficulty here in this world with these two things. Loving is also a problem. To be loved is also a problem. To be loved means we have an expectation. To love means if we don't have love in the heart, how can we give any love to anybody? If we don't have compassion or love, we can't give to the others. He is the one who actually taught us on how to love and be loved, and also on how to love the Supreme Lord. And then he also taught one of the main things. Actually, why I am saying this today is because I don't know, some of you could be hearing. If I am talking here and you're sitting there and hearing, Paramatma in my heart is making me actually speak some words so that Paramatma in your heart is actually reciprocating, and you need to hear that. That's the reason why you are there and I'm here. That's all. I'm just an instrument. So basically, how to love the Supreme Lord and how to love everyone. Here, even if you get a diamond ring or a necklace for your wife, maybe she's unhappy. The wife cooks the best meal for the husband, but still maybe he is unhappy. The wife tries to serve all the relatives of the husband, but still maybe he is unhappy. Right? These things are very common in life. Why is it that there is no reciprocation among people, or there is no loving exchange among people? That is basically because we are actually disconnected from the Supreme Lord. How to actually connect with the same Supreme Lord? The Shastras say, Yatha Tarod Moola Nishechanena Tripyante Tat Skanda Bhuja Shakhaha. Which means, if you want to water the roots of a tree, what do? You take some water and put it there, right? But what happens after that? The water seeps into the trunk, to the branches, sub-branches, twigs, leaves, flowers, and fruits, right? So that means just by watering the root, where is the water going? It's reaching all parts of the plant. Similarly, if you want to love your wife or children, or if you want to love your boss also for that matter, what you need to do is have Krishna in the center or Lord in the center, whichever Lord you believe in, that's okay. Have Lord in the center. If you love the Lord and please the Lord, then everything around you becomes very beautiful, very happy. Okay? And this is not something which Prabhupada told on his own. I have quoted the verse Yatha Taro Mula Nishechanena. This is there in the Shastras. It is just that we don't know. So if we do that, we can actually be successful among with our relationships, successful in our office, because nobody will actually operate on the platform of lust, anger, and greed. Everybody will actually operate on the platform of love, kindness, compassion. Right? So that is what Srila Prabhupada taught us. And he was exemplary, not by precept alone, but he taught by example. So that's the reason why I have put his slide. And I read Prabhupada's books when I was in solitude. That was not loneliness actually. I thought I'm lonely whenever my husband went away because they used to go at least 3 to 4 days in a week to some place or the other, and they used to get some temporary duties for some months together, 2 to 3 months, where you're managing the kid, you're managing the home, you're managing everything on your own. I mean, own. It's not easy, and that too in cantonment areas where these are far-flung places from the main city. So, in that loneliness, which I was actually scared of at that time, the only thing that came to my rescue was the books of Srila Prabhupada, and that kept me busy and happy. And what do these great personalities do? When we are actually Janasya Krishna, Vimukasya Daivat, that means we have turned ourselves away from the Lord, automatically we are in distress. So these are the people who come to this material world as philanthropists to teach us who God is and where we need to go and how. So Srila Prabhupada is one of them. Yeah, and then my spiritual life began with Srila Prabhupada's books. And as soon as we were posted to Hakimpet, I started reading the books and also visiting the temple. I had a few teachers in the ISKCON Secunderabad temple. That's how I also met my Guru Maharaj because he came after 13 long years to Hyderabad, and that was the first time he was giving initiations to everybody. And my name was taken in the list saying that okay, she's fine, she can actually take initiation. I didn't seek actually because I thought I'm too new, too neophyte to get initiated. But my name was put and my spiritual master accepted, and that's how my spiritual life began. Soon after that, in Hakimpet, my husband decided that the next posting will be to Delhi. He went away to Delhi, and I was with both my children in Hyderabad. That time, my younger one was also not too well, so I preferred to stay back in Hyderabad and took care of both the children. So for about 5.5 years, my husband was in Delhi and I was in Hyderabad, taking care of the children and their schooling. So that is when one day I asked my spiritual master, "Hey, I'm chanting, I'm following the 4 regulative principles, I'm having only prasadam, like whatever regulative principles you have given me, Maharaj, I'm doing all that. But I don't feel any satisfaction. What is the reason?" Then he said, "Champakalata, do some service. Whatever service you may do from home or if you are able to go out, do it." So by then I was actually doing a home-based job. I was a business consultant to two PMI REPs, like you may have heard about project management institutes. So I was actually a consultant to two of the registered education providers. So that time I decided, "Ki, why am I still working? You know, my husband is earning quite well. So there was no attachment to money. So I just quit my job and started serving in a visually impaired home. So that is where my journey actually began with the blind children. So earlier to this, the only encounter that I had with a visually impaired soul was when my husband's colleague had a child who was visually impaired. At the age of 5, I used to see him running nonchalantly without a problem, moving around, and I used to wonder how is this child moving? कैसे भाग रहा है? How does he know the surroundings and things like that? So one day we went to his home. He was holding my hand and he said, "Auntie, come, let's go into my room. I'll show you all my toys." And then he was like, suddenly the power went off. I was like searching, where am I going? But this child was like, आराम से walking. Then I understood, ये बच्चा blind नहीं है. It's me who is blind. I'm dependent on external light and all this. So that means these children are able to see through the mind's eye. We are seeing only with the gross eyes. So there's something called the mind through which also we can see. That was my first experience. And then when I came to Hyderabad, I was preaching to some ladies, some children at home, and I was also going to a private school to teach them. So during that time, one old man who used to come to my home for prasad and the katha told me that I work as a maths teacher in the school. Would you like to come and serve in the school? So I was more than happy. I jumped to the opportunity and said, but the only problem is I'm not a BEd. I don't know if the school will accept me even to do some social service. Maybe I need to have some training on how to deal with the blind children. So he said, no, no, you just come. So I went for the interview, and when the chairman's wife asked me a question, are you a teacher? Did you do your BEd? I said, mar gaya. So then I said, no, I'm not a BEd, nor am I a teacher. Immediately something came to my heart, and I said, but I am a mother, so I can be a mother to your children. And she immediately said, yes, that's what we want. We are looking for a mother for our children. So that's where my journey began. And for the first time, when I saw 250 blind children, it was like so painful. I went home and cried. I sobbed like a child. It was very, very painful. Some child's eye, it's just gouging out. Some child's eyes, they're like, full of water. There's some, infection in the eye. They are in tattered clothes. It was distress and misery to the core. Each child was in some kind of distress. Somebody had a wound on the nose, and the children tell me because we don't have the defense mechanism enough, in the sense we don't actually know that we're about to fall. So suddenly, when we fall, or suddenly when somebody bangs into their face, they get hurt on the nose. And can you imagine? I had a hurt on my nose just once. It is actually very painful to get hurt on the nose. So like this, I was going on every Sunday with a box full of prasadam, and they loved the lemon rice. So every Sunday, I used to go with lemon rice to the school, and they would come running and they would hug Amma, we miss our Amma, you are our Amma. And my tears used to roll like anything. It was like extremely painful to face those children. But subsequently, I understood that not just those children, we are all also blind, spiritually blind, may not be materially, but they are better off in many cases. They have the mind's eye with which they are seeing, and they also are evolving spiritually, so their spiritual eyes are evolving better than mine, I should say. Because when I tell them the deepest of philosophy sometimes, I just go there and start talking. Sometimes when I learn what I learn in my Bhakti Shastri or Bhakti Vaibhav, which is one of the higher levels, to those children, they understand. So basically, they have enough Sukruti, due to which they have enough faith, that is Shraddha, and because of their Swabhav also, they are able to accept the higher truths very, very beautifully. Okay, so he is my spiritual master, His Holiness Bhakti Raghava Swami Maharaj, and he is the one from whom I have taken Diksha. And as I told you, in Mayapur there was actually an attack by the dacoits on a temple, on Mayapur ISKCON temple. So at that time, in 1983 or 84, when the dacoits attacked to steal away the deities of Radha and Krishna, assuming that the deities are made of gold, but actually they are made of Ashtadhatus. So they wanted to steal and they started attacking the devotees also with desi bombs and sticks and some weapons. That is when my Maharaj actually stood there, he stood ground and he said, you can't enter the temple nor can you actually harm the devotees. So you will have to pass through me. That is when they just hurled a bomb at him and my Maharaj lost one leg in that operation. So, but then, this is how he is smiling all the time. He is not at all body conscious. He is the one who has actually transformed many lives in West Bengal. There are 1,000 Namahattas which he started. Namahatta means each Namahatta has got about 40 to 50 people who will come and learn Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam. So can you imagine? He started a revolution in Mayapur in West Bengal, and he is actually born of a French mother and a Canadian father. He has, I think, 3 PhDs. That is, he has done doctorate in 3 concepts, and he has so much of patience. My God, if I have even a spark of patience today, it is only because of my spiritual master. Because earlier in life, I always used to pray to God only for one thing, 2 things: Shraddha and faith. Shraddha and patience. I used to say I don't have patience at all because my mother often used to say, "Honey, for a girl, why do you get irritated? Why do you get angry for a small little thing?" No, she often used to tell me, this is how you are going to behave in your in-laws' house, Gaya Kamse. Like that. So I used to pray and I took my mother's words very seriously and I used to pray Shraddha and patience I need. But after seeing Maharaj, automatically, at least a bit of it came. Okay. And these are His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj and His Holiness Bhakti Rasamrita Swami Maharaj, from whom also I learned a lot through their lectures. And His Holiness Raghunath Swami Maharaj is actually the spiritual master of His Grace Lilananda Prabhu, or we call him like that, but he's Lakshman Reddy ji. So he's born in a Jewish family in Chicago. He hitchhiked all the way from USA through Iran and Pakistan to India. Why? Just to know what is the purpose of life and who is my guru and all these questions which he had from his childhood and why is there so much of discrimination and all these people like Maharaj also, Bhakti Rasamrita Maharaj. I heard many of his lectures even before going for a Bhagavad Gita class. I used to open some of his lectures and jaldi sun ke, and I never had the habit of sitting and writing because it's always children or some seva at home. I don't have any notes at all. And I have actually been an extempore speaker. I can't speak from a PPT. Honestly speaking, if you give me a PPT and ask me to speak, I cannot. Today is maybe the second or third time that I'm speaking like this. So these are all Mahanubhavas or Mahajanas. You can see a smile on their face. That is because they're always serving compassionately, lovingly. They don't have any expectation from anyone. It is all about giving to the others. That makes them happy. And this is what actually we learn in ISKCON through all of them. Coming to service to the visually impaired kids in Hyderabad. So I have around 70 children with me, and every Sunday I go to the children. These are a set of girls. Earlier their faces used to be like that, and I took some testimonials also which I have put on my channel. I can share the channel YouTube link to Lilananda Prabhu and he will share them with you. So these are the boys and girls. All I simply do is go to them, do some prayer, bhajan, kirtan, distribute some nice prasadam. That time, like I don't compromise on prasadam at all. Some of the best dry snacks because wet things they either throw on their clothes or on the floor. because they're not able to see. So I pack them in pouches and take. So these are wonderful children who are learning how to do bhakti. Can you imagine at this age? And they are now out of their depression. Why? How? They don't face any stress, you know. They actually have grey hair also. These kids, most of these kids, due to the stress they undergo in life. But now you ask them, do you have any tension? Do you have any stress? They say no. हम लोग के पास we have Bhagavad Gita. We are happy. And I conducted one quiz. There is one lady who sponsored 9 Bhagavad Gitas in Telugu to the children's parents, right? Because they can't read from these books. So I said I'll conduct a quiz because I cannot give to all 70 of you. I'll conduct a quiz. So I asked some of the most difficult questions and they answered. And this child, Kavita, whom you see, she has a stepmother. She has been attending my classes since 1 year. Earlier, she used to be full of tears, stress, depression. But after chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, having prasadam, and listening to the Bhagavad Gita shlokas and learning the shlokas, and coming to the spiritual truths, the change in her is when she won the Bhagavad Gita, I asked her, whom are you going to give to? Because she doesn't have a mother, I thought probably she'll give it to her father. She said, I'll give it to my stepmother. Her stepmother actually tortures her. She doesn't give her good clothes. I mean, she just has this one dress. She comes to every class in that dress on. So after school, the dress dries up, only then she can wear it. Like that. And just can you imagine the kind of forgiveness that she has developed from the teachings of Gita? Wonderful kids. And they are all like this basically because they have enough of Bhakti Sukruti in their account. So even we can develop that Sukruti by starting certain spiritual practices. I will come to that very soon. And there you see in the center that boy, Ishwarapuri Das, he became blind when he was around 9 or 10 years old. He had sight earlier. So when he came to me, he was just 12 years old and he asked me, I'm very good at math, I think I will do engineering. I said, no, don't do engineering, do law, LLB. You do for 5 years and I asked him to join the launcher course and then he became a very good devotee by reading the Shastras and learning from all the lectures and now he is an assistant to the AP High Court judge. So, if we join spiritual life doesn't mean that we'll just become spiritual. No, we can actually become very successful materialists also. Money is not evil, but the love for money is evil. Or the greed for money is evil. Generally, there's a saying, no, money is the evil and it is the root cause of all trouble. No, the love or greed for money is evil. So I told him, no, you can earn, you can actually become a householder also in the future and you can be happy. And the person next to him, to his left, is Mahamantra Prabhuji, who lost his eyesight due to some problem with the optic nerve. Just last year he lost his sight. So now Ishwara Puri is supporting this Prabhuji. Can you imagine? He's actually training him on how to walk and how to, manage your own things. So it doesn't matter. Material kindness does matter to an extent, but if we have spiritual education, then that will actually balance us on the emotional, mental, physical, and intellectual level without a problem. So it's just like we eat food to nourish the body. We study books to actually nourish the mind and intellect. But we actually chant the holy names and we read the spiritual literature to nourish our soul. So if we are nourished at the soul level, then actually we can't be depressed in the true sense, 100%. Okay, so this is the example of these children that I am giving. Can you see their smiles? And it's not that for the picture they are smiling. Okay, they are actually happy souls now. Okay, this I want to show you. Do I have to click the pointer for this? Can you see those people there behind? They are actually Congress party workers who came fully drunk one day. And they took permission from the school that we want to actually come and inspire the children. We want to give some motivational talk. And this is what the children did to them. Yeah. So they came fully drunk, they took permission from school, and because I was standing next to them, I could actually smell, intoxication from them. And I was a little worried about the children, so I stayed back in the class. And when they asked the children कि हम ना कुछ Bollywood वाले गाना गाएंगे, so immediately the children said, no, I think we have something better to sing. And they started singing shlokas and the Narasimha Pranam and the Hare Krishna Mahamantra in their own tune. And they were like walking here and there, अब क्या करें? हम इनको motivation levels of the children. How do I do this? Yeah, next one. Recently, I called two girls to teach them karatal practice. So all that they did was 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and they learned karatals in just 2 hours. Just 2 hours. So now they are actually motivating even the senior citizens actually. Go to the next slide. This is actually, I got the opportunity to make Bhagavad Gita in Braille script. Braille is not a language, it's a script. So in English Braille, all the 18 chapters came into 10 volumes. So this boy, Ishwara Puri, is actually reading it in Mayapur Temple Hall, which is actually not an easy or a simple thing. So that's how they read from the Braille book. So this is the largest edition of Bhagavad Gita in Braille. This has come out for the first time. Earlier, only the Sanskrit shloka was in Sanskrit Braille and only the translation part was there. So the entire Bhagavad Gita in English was not there at all. So last year it was released, and the next slide. Yeah. So I had the good opportunity of making two more books the last year, and I'm in the process of making some audio books as well for them. Yeah. Now coming to some boring discussion. Yeah. Now, what is seva? It is selfless. If you have a purpose about pleasure, then you will be able to serve. If you have love in the heart, you will be able to serve. So, all these things, of course, I do not have that much love, but it is all by the empowerment of my spiritual master and the spiritual teachers and blessings like from Lakshman Reddy Prabhuji and so many other devotees like that. I'm in a position to serve. And there is something called Kama Sankalpa Varjitaha and Seva Sankalpa Arpitaha. What is this Kama Sankalpa? Kama Sankalpa is actually to enjoy one's own senses. Like if I have the eyes, I feel like watching a movie, hearing some Bollywood katha, tongue to taste a pizza or some food which is in the mode of ignorance also at times. So I have these senses and I also have the sense of touch where I feel like touching some smooth textures. So all these indriyas right now are seeking pleasure. And Bhagavad Gita says, Ehi samsparsha javoga dukkha yona evate adyantavantah kaunteya na teshu ramate buddha. Which means the contact with the sense objects that we have with the senses are actually the cause of misery. Because initially they give you a little pleasure, but ultimately they give you a lot of misery. And the person who is wise will understand to what extent I have to use these senses for that minimum kind of pleasure that I need to derive. Beyond that, if we try to go, like if I try to enjoy too many sweets, maybe I become diabetic at a later point of time. If I'm actually trying to watch too many movies, maybe I develop some ulcers in the stomach or some blood pressure, right? So basically, the indriyas are given for a purpose. Like if you are given sandalwood, would you use it to burn as a cooking fuel? No, isn't it? We use it for what? We use it for different purposes like taking sandal fragrance to offer to the Supreme Lord. That is the first purpose, and maybe in soaps and so many other things for the materialists. But if we are using it just to please our indriyas, then we are a gone case. Actually, we need to be very careful and take these injunctions from the Bhagavad Gita. Why? Because it's a manual for us, which is actually guiding us on how to live life. When you buy a phone or any other electronic device, you are given a user's manual. Similarly, to use our life, we are actually given many manuals like Quran, Bible, Bhagavad Gita, and so on. So if we take injunctions from our scriptures, then we are actually very happy. So this is the right definition of seva. Seva means devotional service, which means activities that are performed to please the Lord with all our senses and whatever resources that we have. Yeah, these are some of the quotes. What did Mahatma Gandhi say? He said the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in seva. Why lose yourself? Why is he saying lose yourself? Because when you actually start doing seva, it is so intoxicating, so pleasing, you derive so much of contentment and happiness that you start realizing that you are not this body, you are the soul. All those injunctions which you read in the Shastra are only theoretical. But when you start performing seva, you derive higher realizations. And even Mother Teresa, she said, we ourselves may feel that we are just doing a drop of service in the ocean. But the ocean will be far less with that missing drop, isn't it? If each one of us thinks that, okay, मैं नहीं करूँगी तो क्या? It's okay, I'm just one person ना. But if all of us start thinking that, okay, if I don't serve, somebody else will do. No, it will actually cause a lot of disturbance in the society. We need to have or do some social contributions also, because we may contribute to our own family, to the society, community, maybe nation at the most, and that's it. Beyond that, we don't think. But actually speaking, within the society, there are so many sections of people. There are old people, there are young people. We should actually brainstorm, and when we all get to that level of spiritual paradigm, because right now we are working on the body and mind paradigm. Just like oil and water cannot be mixed into a homogeneous, liquid. Similarly, body-mind cannot be mixed with the soul. The soul is a different identity which is trapped in this body. So that is the reason actually why we are facing problem. We watch Netflix for an hour, but after that, that happiness is gone. You feel tired. You go out for a movie, your legs start aching. Why? Why is it that you look for happiness in external objects but you don't feel happy? Because actually the external objects by themselves do not give you any pleasure. And Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which is a book called Nectar of Devotion, given by Rupa Goswami, he says that anything you try to derive will give you that momentary or fleeting pleasure, after which that is gone. What does that mean? It means Chapala Sukha. It comes and goes, but that happiness cannot be long standing. But what do we do for a long standing or eternal happiness? Seva. So not just some materialists, but even spiritualists are also talking about seva. Okay, service to others is the rent you pay for your own, your room over here on earth, right? That is what Muhammad Ali says. Yeah, and this quote is my favorite actually. I slept and dreamt that life was joy. I woke up and saw that life was service. I acted and realized service was joy. The real joy is in serving, isn't it? Actually, more than in taking, when we give, we feel more pleasure. I can see that so many balloons and confetti and everything has been put up over here just to please the ladies in your office. Why? You actually care for them, right? And they're already overjoyed with the kind of surprises that you are going to give today. So, in giving, you enjoy and you actually feel very happy and content. So, in serving, it's far more. Why? Because you are actually connecting the soul to the Supreme Soul. So, when you go, at least when I go to that school, I feel so much of happiness and contentment, I tell you. I can't describe in words. Every Sunday when I go back, I feel I'm going back home a better person. I have added a value to my value system. That's the kind of feeling I gain. And that is only because we are actually connecting our soul and also the other souls to the Supreme Lord. I'll give you a nice example which I heard in one of the Bhakti Shastri classes. Say, supposing you have a Luna that goes at maximum speed of 50 kilometers per hour. But if you have to reach Hyderabad to Pune, for example, it takes about 8 hours by train. By Luna, it might take maybe 2 days. But if I have to reach Pune in just about 40 minutes, what do? I have to actually tag the Luna to an aeroplane, isn't it? So that means you use the energy of a higher power in order to accomplish your task or your goal. Similarly, when we tag to our spiritual masters and spiritual teachers, our journey becomes even more smooth, simple, happy, contented, and joyous. There is no doubt about it. So, in case you all have anyone in your office itself who can actually guide you in that regard or swerve you in the right direction, then you must not waste your time. You must simply tag along to them because they will simply make your journey very, very happy. And this is an injunction from Chaitanya Charitamrita, which says Jivara Swarupa Hoy, Krishnera Nityadas, which means the original constitutional position of every jiva is to serve the Supreme Lord. Now you might say, अरे I have not seen God, I कैसे serve करूँ? ठीक है, शास्त्र तो कुछ भी बोलता है क्या? Why should I, accept that injunction? The thing is, like when you are eating food, if the fingers think, अरे मैं क्यों दूँ मुंह को? मुंह ultimately पेट को भेजेगा. My stomach is enjoying. Why should I give? If the fingers are holding back, ultimately the body becomes weak, and the fingers will have no role after that, isn't it? So similarly, when we don't know our own position that we are actually gaining by serving, we will think like that. But when we realize that we are not this body, we are not this mind, we are the soul, and the soul has to be in the right constitutional position of serving the Supreme Lord, when we realize that, we become very happy and understand. And even this Shastra, Ekale Ishvara Krishna Ara Sabhabhritya, they are all serving the Supreme Lord. There is only one Ekale Ishvara, that is, there is only one Supreme Lord. This is about self awareness. Till the time we are not aware of our own self, that we are the Atma, we are in distress. And we cannot actually function to our full potential. Actually, the soul has amazing potential. In fact, we see some of the people performing so many difficult tasks and pulling, a lorry or a jeep with just their hair, they're just walking ahead, all such things we have seen. So that is muscle power, right? But ultimately, what does it show? The jiva can actually, it has a lot of potential to do many, many things, isn't it? But we will be coming to our full potential when we realize that we are the Atma, when we are the soul. So, nourishing the soul is important, and that comes by chanting the holy names of the Supreme Lord. Okay, this is not so important. So actually, there are three things that we need to do. If you go to any spiritualist in ISKCON, they will tell you these three things are very important. And why I have listed out is this is exactly how I learned in my spiritual journey, and this is how the blind children are also learning. What is the first thing? Sadhana. Sadhana means any spiritual practice that you take to. And what do the Shastras give about sadhana? We are supposed to chant the holy names of the Lord. What are these holy names? You have this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And it is said in this Kali Yuga, this is the only way in which you can actually get out of this material world and go back to our spiritual world. Okay, and you might think that, oh, there are so many mantras, why not chant those, right? At least this doubt came to me the very first day. I said, why not Om Namah Shivaya, why not this, why not that, I will do Lalita, I will learn Vishnu Sahasranam. There are so many mantras. So the point is, each mantra has got one particular benefit. And I'm actually a very greedy person. I wouldn't do it if it doesn't give me or if it doesn't bestow all the blessings in one mantra. So, what was the most comprehensive mantra in the Shastras which was defined? In the Katha Upanishad, it says, Iti Shodashaka Namna, Kali Kalmashanashanam, Nataro Parataro Payana, Sarva Vedeshu Drashite. No matter which Veda and Shastra you turn over, it gives Iti Shodashaka, the 16 word mantra, which is supposed to be chanted, which will actually do the vanquish the Kali Kalmasha. Kali actually has a lot of kalmash, pollution. So all that gets vanquished in life. Okay? And even in Srimad Bhagavatam there is a shloka which says, Prayin alpayusha satyaha kalavasmin yuge janaha manda sumanda matayo manda bhagya rupadittaha. That means in Kali Yuga we are short-lived, we are disturbed, we are lazy, we are misguided, and we are quarrelsome. So, in order to get rid of these disturbances that are caused by this particular Kali Yuga, the Yuga itself is like that. There is no quick solution that you can have through technology for the stress that you undergo or for the kind of disturbances that you undergo because of other people, other relationships. The only way is to actually do your sadhana by the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which can actually save you. And the second thing, so sadhana means you are actually nourishing your soul, of course, by using the body. So you are engaging body and mind in the best possible manner. Next is Swadhyaya. Swadhyaya is reading of scriptures like Gita and Bhagavatam. Like for example, when I go to the school, I gave them the Bhagavad Gita in Braille. Now some of the children, they read the Braille Bhagavad Gita. And one boy was telling me, Mataji, when I touch that script, Braille script of Bhagavad Gita, immediately I feel my senses are getting purified. I'm feeling the difference. The vibration itself of the book is different. Right? So Swadhyaya is actually to nourish our intellect. When our intellect is nourished, then automatically mind will stop its restlessness. It starts becoming peaceful. It behaves better. And because we're all mentally disturbed, isn't it? Because we don't have the right identity of ourselves. We think that we are the body, we think that we are the mind. That's why, ठीक है, खाना खा लो, सो लो, कितना करोगे? How much will you do? Right? But we also end up in wrong relationships or fighting with people and other things because our mind is disturbed. But if we are aware that we are not this mind and we are the soul. Recently, I heard a lecture of one Swamiji. he was telling that he had an argument with somebody one day. And then that night, when he went to sleep, he couldn't sleep at all. And suddenly he heard dogs barking on the street. And then he said, immediately I felt this is a message from the Supreme Lord telling me, क्यों कुत्तों के तरह लड़ते हो? What do you fight? Right? So basically, the mind is disturbed. So because of the disturbance, we feel so much of passion and ignorance and so many other things. So if we are learning the Gita and Bhagavatam, that is the right engagement to nourish our intelligence and keep the mind very calm and cool. And next is of course the seva, and this is what Chanakya Pandit had to say. And he said, Acharya Padam Adate. That means knowledge is taken from the Guru, 25% of it is taken from the Guru. And then you have Brahmachari the Padam, that means you are taking from the classmates and other peers. And you are actually doing Swadhyaya, Swavedhasya, that means you learn on your own also, 25% you learn on your own. And last is Kala Kramena. Kala Kramena means when you are performing some seva, gradually you become realized. You start realizing. I mean, nobody has to tell you, pata hai, ye aisa kya hai, nobody has to tell you. And in fact, no university will teach you lessons from experiences. Koi nahi bolega, only people can talk. Only spiritual people can talk. Because they have realized it. So that is what Kala Kramena means. When you start serving, you realize. Okay. There is an example of Nehruji. Once he went to a mental asylum and he saw a lot of people, lunatics. Okay. But one fellow was actually calmly sitting at one end and Nehruji went to him and asked, तुम तो नॉर्मल दिखते हो, तुम कैसे आ गए यहाँ पे, तुम्हारा नाम क्या है? So that fellow said, मैं तो अपना नाम बताऊंगा, पहले आप अपना नाम बताइए. So Nehruji said, I am Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. So this guy said, when I came here, this is exactly what I used to tell about myself. So that is misidentification. Right now, we are all also in the same position. We are thinking that we are the body and mind. Absolutely not. We are the soul. We have a Swarupa, and that is to serve the Supreme Lord. And we have to realize that. And that comes only when we do our sadhana, swadhyaya, and seva. Yeah, what happens when we actually do service? Service actually gives us immense satisfaction. It gives us so much of happiness that there is no way when you feel discontentment or botheration or pain. Like maybe Rath Yatra, I have seen Lakshman Reddy Prabhuji. He conducts Rath Yatra in his community. More than 1,000 people come and they cater to so much of prasadam. And then his mind must be boggling and he is so good at multitasking, okay? He is handling, you won't even know he is doing so many things behind your office. He is doing so much service to the society. So, but you'll always see him happy, right? The thing is, there is so much of tension behind. How I have to manage this, I have to finish this is the timeline, this is how I have to please the spiritual master or my teachers or the people whom I'm guiding. Like that. And he thinks, along with his wife, he thinks of so many people like that, training them, molding them, caring for them, giving them love. It's not easy. So, but they're always happy. Internally, there could be a volcano, but they are happy. So, seva saves us from illusion. What is that illusion that I'm talking about? Misidentification with the body and mind. So, it saves us from that. And then you make the best use of time and resources. Actually, my husband in the Air Force, obviously these days everybody is paying their taxes, but earlier there was a concept of black money, a lot, right? But now there is not much black money. So all these defense service officers, they pay, I think, around 40 to 45% in taxes. So, an Air Force officer will lead a very lavish life, externally dikhta hai, but by the 10th or 15th of every month, the money gets over. But trust me, honestly speaking, ever since I started serving the children and doing these kind of sevas in spiritual life, I don't know how, but the money flows. Not that I am taking from anybody or somebody is giving. Barkat antar kada in Telugu, that is there. Unnecessary expenditure avadu, There are no medical expenses as well. Of course, one because my brother is a doctor, and two because touch wood, Lord's mercy, we don't fall sick much. So money won't go for negative purposes or wrong purposes or unnecessary purposes. So you have enough money to serve. So you are making the best use of your time and resources as well. Then it purifies our body, mind and soul. Maybe you don't do your facial, you don't do your makeup, but your body is maintained, your mind is maintained, so is your soul. Advantages some more. Help develop healthy and loving relationships. I tell you, the kind of love I receive from those children. Honestly speaking, I have not received that kind of pure, pristine love from anybody. Of course, from my spiritual masters and teachers, I do, and devotees also. But from the material relationships, you can't expect that kind of bonding. You will actually develop. It is my 100% guarantee. After today's session, even if one person comes and tells me, I think I will follow spiritual life, I'll be the happiest person. You know why? Because that will be good for that person. That person is actually going to get transformed in terms of consciousness and life too. We develop a lot of focus. There is nothing like getting deviated, distracted towards some sense gratificatory aims and goals, nothing of that sort. And then to grow up in a corporate, I put it on purpose actually, it's not there in the Shastra, but yes, one thing is for sure, it helps everyone in this material world. See, I tell you something, generosity is an act of kindness, but it is not something to invoke the influence from others or a reaction from others. It's about who you are. It's not about what you get because of generosity. So, in shallow communities, power, money, prestige, all these are actually influencers, right? If you have these things, people will value you. But in deep communities, if you are compassionate, loving, and generous, then the kind of love is like you gain immensely. And even in your corporates, you will definitely see that if you become spiritual, people will value you more. Why? Because automatically you will start behaving, thinking, performing things in a very genuine way, in a loving way, not to attract somebody's attention and appreciation, but honestly from the heart. Yeah, what are the disadvantages of not doing seva? We will start thinking that we are just the body and mind. That's all we will be at. Like it's like using that sandalwood example which I just gave, using it for cooking fuel. Like that. It will go like that. And then we become egoistic and hard-hearted. इतने दिल के बुरे बन जाते हैं because we have not learned to give. We have only learned to take. And कितना लेंगे हम? लेंगे, taking. That doesn't satisfy us at all. And then shutting down opportunities to learn and connect with ourselves. It is so true. Because when you start serving, maybe the old people, or the children, or the deprived section of the society, or anybody for that matter, or even if you're not serving other people, just by coming to the spiritual life and doing the seva of chanting and seva of honoring prasadam, and of course a few regulative principles if you are able to follow, that's even better. What should be the attitude of sadhaka? T is for time. We have to actually honor time, respect others' time also. If I'm serving somebody freely doesn't mean that I'll go at any time and do whatever I want at any time. And then attitude should be to please the Lord and to please the people, but not to get appreciation or mileage from our seva. And S is the scope. Scope means actually we have to understand. For example, when I was serving the children for the last 12 years, I understood the scope is different in the sense I am serving in only one school, I am teaching only here. How do I expand this service to other people in the society? I mean, other visually impaired souls in the society. Then I thought of making the Braille Bhagavad Gita because I understood none of such books are existing in the world. So we have to expand our scope. And then the quality. Like you must have heard about Hanumanji. What did Hanumanji do? What was the quality of his seva? So selfless and always wanted to please the Supreme Lord. Once he went to Sita Mata and asked her, she was applying the sindoor. So he asked, why you are applying like that? So she said, when I apply this, I please my Lord. So he said, then I'll apply it on my whole body. And he went in front of Lord Ram. And when Lord Ram asked, he said, I want you to be happy, Rama. That's why I applied this. And we should also be like Hanuman in terms of serving others. He increased in size at times and he also decreased in size, all for the purpose of serving the Supreme Lord. One day, one Brahmana went to Hanuman and asked him, do you know Lord Rama has got a diary and he writes the names of all his sevakas in the diary. Go and check if your name is there or not. So he says, Rama, please can you give me the diary? Rama gives. He opens and he turns all the pages. Hanuman's name is not there in the diary. He feels so depressed and he goes to the Lord Rama. Didn't I please you? Didn't I do any seva for you? I'm so sorry. My name is not in this diary. Then Rama says, you want the diary? I'll give you. He removes another diary and gives it to Hanuman. In that entire diary, only the name of Hanuman is given. Written by Lord Rama. So when we try to please the Supreme Lord like Hanuman, our name gets chiseled in the heart of Rama. So of course we are far away from that kind of situation, but this is the aim and goal and the desire that we need to hold in our hearts. So thank you all so much. I have taken a lot of your time. If I have wasted your time, I'm very sorry for it. And if you have taken away anything from the session, you can try and tell me that, or if you have any questions, I will try to answer. I'm not a great spiritualist. I'm just in the process of learning, and I have a big signboard on my forehead, which is not seen because it's subtle. It says work in progress. Thank you all so much. Hare Krishna.
Can you share some examples or instances that you face with children?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I'll tell you few instances about these children. One day I was telling one boy, in the class I was teaching about the Supreme Lord Vishnu holding Shankha, Chakra and Gada Padma in his four arms. So this boy got up and asked me, Ki Mataji, you're talking about Kamal, no? I want to understand what a lotus flower is all about. I said, lotus flower is pink in color, it is mrudu, very smooth textured, it is very beautiful, it has many petals, it has a green stalk. Like that, I described the lotus flower. He sat down. And then I went on to, give the class, and this boy again got up and asked me, Ki Mataji, can you tell me a little more about the lotus? Then I said, there are some lotuses which are white in color, which are yellow, pink, blue. Lotuses which may have 1,000 petals also. He sat down, got up again. Said, Mataji, can you please describe about the lotus, more about the lotus? I said in the Bhagavad Gita it is given as Padma Patram Ivam Prasad. Just be like the leaf of the lotus flower which doesn't catch any mud even though it is in contact with the muddy water. He sat down. Again he got up. And I was just waiting. Abhi मैं class नहीं दूंगी, wait करूंगी, he might get up again. And he did get up. And he asked me, Mataji, can you tell me a little more about the lotus? Then I told him, Lord Brahma comes from the Nabhi of, Garbhodakasha Vishnu. And he comes and sits in the lotus flower. All that description I gave him. He heard that. He sat down again. I knew he would get up and he did again. And then I told him, the spiritual world actually is like a lotus flower. It has many petals. All those petals are like the Vaikuntha planets around the Goloka, which is in the center. That is the wall of the lotus. And in the center are Radha and Krishna, who are our supreme lordships. He was so satisfied with that answer. And that day I realized when I'm going to teach them, Initially, when I told the lotus is pink, soft, like that, all the basic details I gave him, thinking that he is visually impaired. That day I realized, actually, sometimes you may have students who are so highly evolved spiritually, you may not even know. And there could be some pure devotees in the making. So I must be very careful not to judge anyone and not to think that anyone knows less than me. This is one lesson that I drew. And I also understood that we, when we read the Shastra or any content for that matter, ठीक है पढ़ लिया, I finished the book. But do we actually go deeply reflecting, contemplating, thinking about various aspects? And this boy had that kind of samutkanta, so much of eagerness to learn. So this is one experience that I carried. And one day there was a boy called Rajesh. This happened in Devnar school in the year 2015. This boy was actually put in the hostel by his parents and they went away to Maharashtra. And he was sitting on the stairs because he could not understand Telugu. And he had literally tears in his eyes and he was like literally weeping. So I told him, why are you crying? I asked him, he said, no, I can't, मुझे ना तेलुगु नहीं आती है, मुझसे तो कोई दोस्ती नहीं कर रहे हैं, मुझे तो अपने मम्मी पापा के पास जाना है. So I said, see, I'm like your mom only, come. I take you to the class, we are going to the Sunday Gita class, come and sit in the class. He came. And then the first thing that came to my mind was what I read in the Shastras, which says, our Supreme Father is Krishna. So philosophy is very easy to say, theory. बोलना बहुत आसान है. That day I realized this boy is crying for his parents, and I was about to tell him that the Supreme Lord is Krishna. But did I realize this deep inside? Am I crying for my Lord? Am I feeling the separation? Am I feeling the remorse that I have come away to this material world? No. So this way, some realizations can be so deep at times. Um, like this one time, generally I go and tell them something, कि ऐसे follow करो, you do this. One day I told one child, कि when you recite the Damodara Ashtakam in the Damodara month during Kartik, you offer a lamp, okay? ఒక ఒత్తి పెట్టి కొంచెం నూనె నెయ్యి వేసి you just offer to the Lord and చెప్తే they said okay we will do. And everybody went home. One boy gave me a call and he was like a very sincere student of Bhagavad Gita, small little boy, just 7 or 8 years, that's all. Called and said, Mataji, మా ఇంట్లో నూనె లేదు, నెయ్యి లేదు మాతాజీ, నేను ఎలా దీపం పెట్టాలి? I said, నెయ్యి లేకపోతే పర్వాలేదు, నూనె పెట్టు, ఏం పర్వాలేదు, Lord will accept. He said, we don't have anything to eat also. What I will offer to the Lord? Then I understood that we should not actually teach them what we know. We must actually teach them what they want also. That's very important. Until we have to get down to their level and give them what they can perform. Sometimes, if anybody is not able to perform any activity in devotional life, they start feeling miserable. Here, I'm not able to do this. So, as a mentor or a teacher, we need to know that ठीक है, शायद ये नहीं कर पाएगा, but he'll be able to perform some other activity. So, accordingly, we must actually tell them. And because blinds are not able to see, but they're also very, very lusty. Okay, so they kind of touch people or do some activities which they're not supposed to do. So one child told me that he was just about to lose his eyesight at the age of 6 or 7 due to some problem with the optic nerve. And it seems the parents used to make him sit in front of the television thinking that TV ज़्यादा देखने से eyesight revive हो जाएगा. So that boy ended up watching so many movies of all sorts because the parents used to go away for work. We cannot become judgmental with these kind of people. We have to accept them as a package with all their weaknesses and anarthas and start grooming them to a healthier life, a better life. So what I did was my Prabhuji, my husband got him an iPod. I loaded all the lectures because he had a habit of either watching or hearing. Now he cannot see, so he has to hear only. So repeatedly he used to hear a lot of things. And by hearing and hearing and hearing, he understood that he can actually grasp a lot of concepts. And one day, Daiva Prabhuji, he is a disciple of Srila Prabhupada. He came to India and he asked one of my students, you must be feeling very bad now, you can't see. So the child immediately promptly said, no, I don't feel bad because hearing is more important than seeing. So, and he said, I am able to see the Shastra by hearing. I am able to have the darshan of the Lordships because when I go and stand in front of the Lordships, they are watching me. And recently one child came and asked me, ki, Mataji, I don't have eyes, I feel so bad. I said, see, Krishna said in the Bhagavad Gita, he has got one eye as a sun and the other eye is moon. And for us, we have two eyes, one eye is Bhagavad Gita and the other is Bhagavatam. All of us, whether we have material eyesight or not, we are supposed to see through the Shastra. We have to gain higher insight. We have to develop a Shastric vision. So, not only you, even we have to do that. So, whether you are materially blind or not, if we are all spiritually blind, उनमें और हम में ज़्यादा फर्क नहीं है. We don't have to feel, ayo, papam, okay, of course, we feel compassionate, but क्या difference है उनमें और हम में? Even I can't see with my spiritual eyes, and actually they are better. If the power is shut down today here, I won't be able to walk till that end also. But they can walk. They can just take the stick and then walk through. And one experience again, because Babaji was very eager to hear, I'll tell you one more. One boy, after completing his 12th, I told him, you go for the mobility course. Mobility course is when they're given a stick and they're asked to move with the help of the stick. So the mother came to fight with me. She said, it's not your son, no. That's why you're asking my son to go on the road, get into bus, car or whatever, train. What if he meets with an accident? What if he dies in an accident? Obviously, आपका बेटा नहीं है ना, तो इसीलिए आप तो कहोगे उसको जाने के लिए. My intention was to actually train him in such a way that he becomes a little independent. Even to this day, there are some children who are scared of walking on their own. So I make them take the support of the wall and come to the classroom on their own. Because till the time they don't have a support, they are like, no, I will not go to the class or I will not do this. It is difficult, but our main aim should be to make them independent and move on their own. So earlier children used to get very scared of doing things on their own, but now they're very independent. And even that mother who actually spoke to me like that later felt that अच्छा हुआ आपने mobility course कराया. Today my son goes to Mayapur, Vrindavan, to Bombay, and even for his education he went to Gujarat and so many other places. So it's like we face challenges. Like, but when I face challenges, I don't think like, oh, what will the parents think? Oh, what will the school think? Just do it. I mean, you know that you are actually doing it for the pleasure of the Lord and taking them, trying to take them closer to the Supreme Lord while you yourself are also moving by the mercy of the spiritual master and our teachers. So there are challenges that the children face, like I was talking about Kavita. She has a stepmother who doesn't take care of her at all, who's actually troubling her all the time, abusing her, exploiting, and so many other things. But now she is so compassionate. She says, I love my mother, I love my stepmother too. How is the transformation coming? Just because of the purity that they're actually gaining from this knowledge. There's one girl called Kirti. She was like one day telling me, I was able to see the light when she went for her medical examination. There's a board, like we all go for our eye test similarly. There is a board on which alphabets are given. She is fully blind. She could not even see light in her eyes, but now she's able to see light. So she was so happy. She said, it's all because of the Lord's blessings and Guru's blessings that this kind of a thing is happening. And her Shraddha, not only her Shraddha, but so many other children have so much of Shraddha in the Gita and Bhagavatam today that sometimes I feel ashamed because I'm speaking only theory. There's so much journey which is yet to be achieved. So I seek all of your blessings, not just for those children, but for me too. And yeah, is that okay, Prabhuji? Shall I give the mic to you?
No, that's fine. Can you take the chair?
No, it's okay.
Anyone have any more questions, anything you'd like to ask?
Leave it here. I'll just say a few words. So I had actually invited her here. But first and foremost, I would want to say that we heard a life of army officer's wife, right? And what as a family, her husband has given his life for the country, and she has given the life for the blind children. What a family. Let's clap for that. So many difficulties. I was taking some notes as how should I thank her? I've known Mataji for many years now. And every time I hear, it's more touching. And actually, I was hoping that you will show more pictures of the children. And sometimes when I heard, I literally cried sitting there, thinking how greedy I am in my life, how self-centered I am in my life. I always plan my Sundays. She doesn't plan her Sunday; those children plans her Sunday. And she's standing here. She's standing here not to get any praise. Don't worry, not to get any reward also. I have known her for many years. She has come here just to share, right? And there is so much to share. I can tell you she has shared maybe 1% of what I already know about her. I don't know why your presentation, she has never done presentation. I think this impaired you. The way presentation stopped you from speaking what you are.
And send a link to my YouTube channel
Yeah.
where I posted all the videos from the. Actually, I had so many that I didn't know what
Actually,
are
I've heard of videos where children, they spend some time with her and then they died also because visually impaired have so many challenges. You can't imagine. When you go into that blind school, you are a different person. You can't imagine what. You'll be so grateful what we have. Sometimes we complain, oh, I don't have this. You should know what you have. And when you, and then they are so compassionate. There are so many stories, please share that link. I want to share them. And so thank you to the Indian Army also. While she was saying that, we are also comfortably sitting in this office and earning our salaries and planning our vacations. There are people sitting on the border, and their wives sitting in those cantonment areas with so many scary situations that they go through, all to safeguard us. And we don't forget. And on this day of Women's Day, I salute all the women who have sent their husbands, to the border, and they are serving the country and serving all of us. Happy Women's Day to all the army officers' wives. And there are also so many women, and there are also so many women who are serving in the army, right? I request all of you, please go and watch the movie Article 370. How many here have watched it? It's an unbelievable movie. It's an unbelievable movie where it talks about what a woman can do when she had to do. Right? It's not a movie. Actually, it's an experience that you'll go through when you see that. And when she was speaking, I was thinking about the sacrifices the army and officers and their wives have done for us to be so comfortably living here. We are just enjoying that without even thanking them. Right? So I'm telling about myself. Don't think I'm telling anyone. The heart speaks to a heart. You want to connect with blind child, you can't connect with your tongue. You can't connect with your actions. Only through a heart you can connect to another heart. And how much they love her, you don't know. I mean, really, I'm sorry to say that, Mataji, You have not shown what has to be shown. You showed everything else. I don't know. Sorry to say that. Sometimes no speech is required if you just see what she has done. How many of you have printed a book in your life or written a book? Many of us have not. We don't even know what it means. You know what is Braille language? How many of you know what is Braille language? Braille language. You can only touch and feel the words, right? To print one page, it takes 20 pages or more of Braille. Because one word, the blind child has to hold it like this and go, right? Single-handedly, I'll not say use the word simple housewife, but she is just taking care of her family. And she has all the responsibility. She has 2 children. She has parents. She has a brother. She has husband who is always traveling. So many challenges. And she's going and serving in the, every Sundays, she's going and serving in the blind school. Wherever she is, Bangalore, Hyderabad, wherever you stay. She managed to print the entire Bhagavad Gita in Braille language, which has not happened in the history in the world so far. It has not happened. And just not the shlokas, word to word, translation, purport, you know, the bhashyam, that explanation that acharyas give. You know how big is the Bhagavad Gita? What we buy is this big, maybe a little fatter than this, you know, this much. You know how big is the Braille language Bhagavad Gita? 10 books. 10 books, right? And each Bhagavad Gita of this size, even to gift it to a blind school, cost more than 10,000 rupees. I don't know. Just to print, first of all, what is the amount of austerity and pain that she went through to even print it? Who is going to do it? And to take it to the audience, you know, and to take it to the, and now so many, you know, what do you call that, bhajans. So many bhajan books also she has gone into. Recently, I was talking to her, and she's just going on into story books for children. Just imagine a blind child closing his eyes and touching and reading a story, and it's making him happy. It's just making him happy, you know, just by reading that story or by singing a bhajan. What a bhajan means to you, what a God names means to you is different from what it means to a blind child. We can't imagine. And actually, a blind person can see God. I wish I was materially blind and spiritually had some vision. Really, a blind child and a child, you know what it means to be blind? I mean, it's scary for us. Scary. Tomorrow we lose our sight, and how will I survive? But they are happy. But they're actually happy and totally satisfied in life, right? Because of some Matajis like her who go and give their best time of the week. When the husband has come, I want to spend time with him, and they go. And by the way, when she showed the video of one person reading Bhagavad Gita in Mayapur, remember that? The person sitting beside was her husband. So this is called a relationship. This is called a marriage, where, I mean, he may not be that interested in the level of spiritual language that she spoke, but all he cares about, I should support my wife. And I actually asked her, can you bring your husband here today? I know he must be busy, he's in army. But he's such a gentleman. And all he does is supports his wife. To print the Braille Bhagavad Gita is not easy. It all happened because of her husband. He supported her at every step. And when I say what is a marriage for, this is a marriage for. Marriage means to serve. Serve the society together as wife and husband. And Women's Day is special because if a woman wants to do something, no world can stop it. Right? And you can see, in a simple way she started. I don't think you've seen her journey at all. You know, you didn't show. I mean, sometimes you have to see so many schools, so many children, so many places she's serving selflessly. And her team, you know, this little girl who came here, now she's a big girl. When she was 13 years old, can you stand up? What's the name of it? Aruna. So Aruna was 13 years old when she first met her. And today she's coming here. She is working from home. And she told to her boss, today I'm taking you off. So she came along with her just to thank her for what she has given her. And there are so many blind children. What we can do back? Your money will do nothing. I told her, Mataji, can we do some donation to you? Said, no, I don't want a donation. Money, what can money do? Money, when you are serving Narayan, Lakshmi will run behind you. She'll give you. What we can do is do something to ourselves. What we can do to do something to ourselves is get into some seva, some social work, some contribution back to the society, without any expectation, without a selfie, without an Instagram post. And you will become happy in life. Something little, right? She's serving in a blind school. One Sunday, why don't we all go to the blind school and see what she's doing? One Sunday morning. Can we sacrifice one Sunday morning? Just to see what she's doing there. And that might inspire us to do something. How many blind schools are there in Hyderabad? Hundreds. How many are spending time with those children? Especially children who are looking for love. I'll tell one incident that moved my heart. There is a friend of mine. She has 4 children. These days, having 4 children is kind of weird. I don't know. But she has 4 children, very well educated. She's living in America now. She's a very good friend of mine. We did CA together. When she was living here, her children were studying in a Banjara school, and she used to hug and leave her children in the morning. So mother goes to drop the children. She'll go drop her children, and all the 4 will go into the school. One child would come and hug her. One child would come and hug her. Every time she would hug her children and send them inside, the child would come and do her hands like. Can you imagine one child coming and doing like this? She, okay, you come in. One day, after hugging, she asked the child, do you like me hugging? And the child told, no one hugs me. My parents don't hug me. Can you imagine what a hug means to a small child? Can you imagine what love means to a small child? We are all very fortunate because our parents have loved us. Today, parents are running behind money. Both of them want to clear a home loan. And they're saying, this is for our child. Your child doesn't care about the flat you want to give. All he needs is a hug. A warm hug. That is why that's called a balanced family. With this Sanatan Dharma, this Bharat Varsha is teaching the whole world that we need a family. And only a woman's hug can satisfy the love, the hunger for love of a child. Man can also hug, father can also hug, but a woman's hug is different. And a lot of people who did not have their mothers hugging them, now they are coming out in society as criminals. Do you know that? Because they're eager to find that love which they have not found in their young age. Because their mother is going and doing something in the name of anything. Mother has a big role to play. Woman has a big role to play. Right? And the Women's Day, we should recognize our mothers who have hugged us, who have given that love. We also have to give it back. Right? You go out of this office, sometimes we complain, my career is not going up, I am not getting enough payment, and I think I deserve better salary, I think I deserve better career position. Nothing wrong with that. But one day, we get out of our thinking, we go to the blind school and hug a child who can't see. You just hug her and see the way they hug back. They will hold you more tighter. And then you'll realize what is important in life. What is important in life? What did I do with my life? Today I'm 40 years old. What did I do with my life? All this while I was just accumulating for myself, hoping some love and happiness. But when you serve, you find that happiness. There was a lot of philosophy today. Mataji spoke. A lot of philosophy. But sometimes just doing it makes you understand everything. Our grandmothers never were irritated when 100 people visited their house. In a village, 100 people visiting their house, our grandmothers were never irritated. Today we are irritated with one person coming to our house. Right? Means the tendency of seva itself is gone. Seva is everything. And seva has to be taught by a mother. Seva has to be learned from a mother. And seva is a woman. Woman means seva. Today the world is standing together because women are serving. A man cannot serve, man will earn. he'll give, he'll provide, but seva he can't do. It's not in his nature. He might do a little here and there, right? For example, me and my wife, first time I'm talking about my family here, but I give big lectures. I go and stand. We can talk philosophy, shastra, but behind me, my wife is the one who actually gives that compassion and love to everybody. I might be thinking, why I gave a class, so many people are impressed, so they'll come for the next class. No, I don't have that face value or anything at all. Only love can make all the difference. How you care for people, how you take care of them, what do they need? Do you really think people need philosophy? Huh? Big statements or English jargons, this is what people will make. No, love and selfless love and seva. Let's start that. Recently, even Pawan was saying, we should do some seva. We should come out of this office and do some seva. Do something. Plant a tree. Plant a small tree every day. Put water and then see how it grows. That itself is a beginning, right? And I was reading a story today. I forgot about the name of the king. What was the name of the king? Anyway, I sent it in the finance. Name of the king. This king, can you tell me the name of the king? Yeah, while I tell the story. So this king, not a king, but a hunter. He was a hunter. So he used to hunt animals and sell them. That was his business. One day he went for hunting. It became too late in the night, and he had to climb a tree because it was very late. And while the animals are there, he tied the animal that he killed to sell somewhere down. And at one point, he realized, oh my God, my family is waiting for me. And my family doesn't even know whether I'm alive or dead. So just to pass the night, so he doesn't fall from the tree, he started plucking one leaf and throwing it down. And because he was remembering his family, he started crying in the night. And next day morning, he took the deer and sold, and whatever happened. At the time of his death, two great souls, looking like devatas, they came from Kailash. They said, Lord Shiva is calling you, come. You have perfected your life. He said, what? What did I do? He said, that night when you were on the tree, it was Shivaratri. And that leaves that we were throwing were the leaves of Braille tree. And the tears were falling on a Shivalingam that was below the tree. And he is very pleased with you. He wants to take you back. Without even our knowledge, little service that he did, Agyata Sukriti, we call it, has pleased the Lord. Just imagine if we all get up and actually do it with consciousness. How much we will be happy. So Chitrabanu, okay, thank you. It's a big story, but I just put it short, right? So I thank you very much for coming here.
Thank you.
On Women's Day. Oh no, please no, because I know you so well. Because I know what you have done.
Actually, there are so many videos. I just couldn't put them all on the presentation. So my intention was to send the YouTube link later, so that at your time you can just go through it.
Yes, thank you. Oh, you want to say anything?
No, I think
Please.
I don't have any right to talk here. Whatever you have shown is really good. If you would have shown a little deeper, you would have cried. And today I don't want these women to cry. So with all respect, humbleness, thank you so much for whatever you're doing. But it struck something in my mind that you want to ask later stage. Somebody is fighting for the nation to safeguard their nation. Somebody is giving life to somebody. These are two different narrow things. It's just a pencil mark that this is my territory and this is my territory. So which one is more valuable end of the day? And there's no answer, no question, right? Each country tries to safeguard the territory. They kill a lot of people, and so many misfortunes happen. And we are suffering in this nation to bring these things up. So a lot goes on. It's all karma. I don't know. Anyways, so thank you, Mataji, and thank you for being here. Anything that we can do, Lakshmanji is here. I don't know. I mean,
how many would want to visit the blind school one Sunday morning? I'll plan it. Just one of the Sundays, maybe next month, not immediately. Yeah, I will send
anything that we can serve for the school then?
Actually,
we'll cook some lemon rice and take. And I think we heard they like lemon rice. Right? So we all can cook some lemon rice in our houses and we'll take little. How many students are there? 70 students. So I think a little bit of lemon rice from each one of us. We'll take that and we'll give the lemon rice. Just spend some time with them and come back. One Sunday afternoon with children. So we will get vision by serving them. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
So if anybody wants to talk, it's a Women's Day, we'll have a group picture. All the women can have a group picture. Thank you. Thank you, Pawan.